Now here is what's on your feed today. Senator judges press both sides over subpoenas for Vice President Sara Duterte's financial records. The NBI eyes more witnesses and prepares subpoenas for its probe into alleged 2019 SEA Games irregularities. A Philippine Navy sailor is hurt after a China Coast Guard personnel struck him with a wooden baton at Ayungin Shoal. Diesel is expected to surge by as much as 10 pesos per liter as Middle East hostilities rattle global markets. Alex Ayala kicks off her U.S. Open build-up in Washington and reunites with tennis legend Venus Williams in doubles. And is it AI or real? A monkey appears to glide off a cliff with an umbrella, sending the internet into a frenzy. As we know, the Senate Impeachment Court has partially granted the prosecution's subpoena request for the financial records of Vice President Sara Duterte and her husband Manasseh Scarpio. We now go live to mobile journalist Merimon Reyes. Merimon, okay, can you walk us through exactly which subpoena requests were granted and which ones were denied by the court?
Denise, what we heard so far from presiding officer Senator Chis Escudero, the court has granted the request to subpoena local bank records of VP Sara Duterte and Attorney Man Scarpio. Yung dollar account, ito ay denied. Yung Anti-Money Laundering Council records of the VP, granted din yung subpoena dito. For the private entities then supposedly related or connected then to Vice President Sara Duterte, they are granted except two business entities na sinasabi wala raw prima facie evidence or showing na may connection ito para isa lang pa yung itong mga documentary evidence. Next, yung inaantabayanan din natin is pagdating naman doon sa tax records wherein may safeguards na ginrant for the BIR records. Pero ngayon kasi may tinatanong itong clarification si Senator Judge Alan Peter Cayetano specifically on how the court has granted the subpoenas while ang tinatanong nila dapat daw ba isa-isahin itong mga pinaparequest na dokumento para sabing ipasubpoena or hindi. Pero ang sinasabi ni Presiding Officer Escudero, dalawang motion lang naman ang nire-request na masubpoena, so they are deciding it as a whole for each motion. Denise.
Okay, Merimon, klaruhin lang natin para sa publiko. Itong mga approval ng court, would this mean that they are admissible as evidence? Pwede na ba kagad gamitin yan? Or does this only mean that they can be or may be obtained?
Denise, yan yung isang point of question kanina ng Senator Judges sa prosecution pati sa defense. Ito yung sinasabi ng prosecution panel na yung pagpapasubpoena naman daw dito sa documentary evidence or sa mga dokumento ay para ma-produce muna itong documents pero hindi pa automatically sinasabing admissible ito. And yan ay bagay na i-consider pa ng impeachment court at a later time. Ito yung sinasabi naman, ang nilalabanan namang ng defense team kanina or ng panel led by Attorney Michael Powa, kung may ipapasubpoena, kailangan pa rin daw sundan or sundin yung due process dyan at hindi exemption ang impeachment trial pagdating sa mga ito.
Okay, so inaabangan to, tomorrow, babalik kasi tayo muna dun sa Article 4 ng impeachment. But with today's ruling, Merimon, how significant is this really for the prosecution's case?
Denise, this has something to do with the article of impeachment pertaining to the unexplained wealth of Vice President Sara Duterte and yung hindi raw malinaw na declaration sa SALN ng vice. Ang sinasabi kasi ng prosecution, they have to get the bigger picture or kailangan makita yung kabuuang larawan para makita itong sinasabing hindi may paliwanag na yaman ng vice at hindi lang daw yung nakatutok sa mga panahon na Vice President siya. That also includes years 2007 hanggang 2025. Ito yung panahon na Vice Mayor siya ng Davao City, naging Mayor siya ng Davao City, kung saan nakita na lumobo yung cash-ins, yung inflows and even yung outflows, questionable na rin sa mga supposedly sa account ng vice. Kaya nais nila na masilip itong BIR records, itong AMLAC records para raw talaga makita. Especially pagdating doon sa sinasabi if she is still fit or no longer fit to hold public office. Kung mayroon din ditong betrayal pagdating sa tiwala ng publiko. Denise.
Sige, cambio lang ako, Merimon. Before yung usapan nitong grants, yung approvals and denials, parang nagkaroon ng back and forth, several senator judges regarding doon sa sinabi, doon sa opening statement or opening manifestation nitong si Senator Robin Hood Padilla. Pakikwento nga.
Denise, kanina kasi sa pagbubukas ng impeachment trial proceeding, nag-manifest itong si Senator Robin Padilla addressing yung sinasabi ng Office of the Ombudsman na hindi raw siya nag-file ng kanyang counter affidavit or sumagot doon nga sa nais kaugnay sa sinasabing may obstruction of justice dahil nga nakaalis ng Senate premises itong si Senator Bato de la Rosa. At one point, nakasama, tinulungan daw ni Senator Robin Padilla. Ang sinasabi ng senador, nag-file daw siya ng kanyang counter affidavit. July 9 daw yon, direkta. Pero after i-address lang noon yung manifestation ni Senator Robin, si Senator Erwin Tulfo naman yung tumayo sa podium at sinasabi, hindi raw ito ang tamang lugar o oras para i-address yung mga personal na issue na kinakaharap ng mga senador. Ito raw ay dapat sa ibang panahon pa, hindi raw during the impeachment trial proper. At bawat segundo raw nasasayang o nagagamit para raw sa mga bagay na walang kinalaman daw sa paglilitis, unjust daw ito para sa bise na pinuput on trial. So ito yung sinasabi ni Senator Erwin na nasasayang daw yung oras, bawat segundo, bawat minuto. Ang sabi naman dito, sinagundahan din ni Senator Kiko Pangilinan naman ito, pero ang sinabi naman ni Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, lahat daw na may kinalaman sa impeachment court, especially yung senator judges, it has something to do with their integrity, with their credibility. Kaya kung may kinakaharap daw na ganitong mga issue o sitwasyon itong mga senador, kailangan daw magkaroon ng konteksto o pagpapaliwanag. It is to preserve daw yung integrity ng korte. Pero at the end of the day, naging ruling dito ng presiding officer Escudero, mananatili sa records yung manifestation ni Senator Robin. Pero pag nagbalik na lang ng regular session, sa plenary na lang daw nila pag-uusapan itong mga issue kinakaharap o gustong i-address ng mga senador. Denise.
Thank you for those updates. Again, that was mobile journalist Merimon Reyes. Now, Senator Ping Lacson alleges the existence of ghost flood control projects in Taguig amid his continuing feud with Senator Alan Peter Cayetano. Lacson claimed some projects under Cayetano's budget insertions were not implemented, including 2 projects worth a total of 75 million pesos. Cayetano earlier questioned the increase in Lacson's declared net worth, but Lacson denied any irregularity and said his wealth came from legitimate businesses. Lacson also claimed to have identified an alleged bagman linked to the projects, but said he is still gathering evidence.
Identified ko na nga yung kanyang bagman. Patawid na kami doon. Nagkalkal ako sa aming baol. Kasi noong kami nagkasagawa ng Blue Ribbon Committee hearing, siyempre nag-prioritize kami. Natambakan kami sa Bulacan, sa Occidental Mindoro. Ang daming information. So parang na-set aside yung Taguig.
The Senate Blue Ribbon Committee will resume its flood control investigation after President Bongbong Marcos' State of the Nation address. BRC Chair Senator Erwin Tulfo said the panel cannot hold hearings until its membership is finalized when Congress resumes session on July 27. He said the committee will look into new leads and avoid repeating previous investigations involving individuals already charged by the Ombudsman. Tulfo added that the panel will implement stricter rules, including the screening of affidavits and a ban on surprise witnesses. The National Bureau of Investigation eyes more witnesses in its probe into the alleged irregularities in the 2019 Southeast Asian Games. NBI Chief Melvin Matibag said several individuals have expressed willingness to testify in the investigation. He added that these potential witnesses could help provide details and clarify issues surrounding the Philippine Southeast Asian Games Organizing Committee. This came as Matibag questioned the legality of Senator Alan Peter Cayetano's previous appointment as chairman of FISGOC. The Bureau is also preparing subpoenas for 3 officials of the committee. Meantime, Senator Alan Peter Cayetano called NBI Director Melvin Matibag a minion. During a live stream, Cayetano showed his shirt featuring the Minions characters while making the remark. In response, the NBI said it would not take offense at the label. It added that name-calling would not affect its investigation into alleged irregularities surrounding the 2019 Southeast Asian Games.
Ang nangyayari po ngayon ay may mga mastermind talaga at may mga minions. So, shoot kong t-shirt today ay dedicated po sa mga minions. Yung minion na yan, pangalan yan ay Melvin. So, shout out sa iyo ngayong Sunday na to, Melvin the Minion.
In another live stream, Cayetano and his sister, fellow Senator Pia Cayetano, spoke about the importance of rules in the impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte. This came amid criticism from several personalities who said the trial has become too focused on technicalities.
Wala namang intensyong gawing technical na pahirapan. Basketball nga, may rules, di ba? Tapos pag nag-foul ka, bibilangan ka ng foul. Pag nakailang foul ka, out ka. Di ba? May rules.
My point is, guys, pagka kasi may rules, protection natin lahat yon. Kasi hindi naman pwedeng, pag magsasaka ka, iba yung rules sa'yo. Pag bilyonaryo ka, iba rules sa'yo. Pag abogado ka, iba rules sa'yo. E di kung ganun, parating panalo yung rule
May kaya.
makers.
Oo.
Yung rule maker, yung sino gumagawa ng rules.
More stories when One Newsfeed returns. Stay tuned. You're still watching One Newsfeed. Welcome back. Malacanang says it will not interfere with any investigation involving former House Speaker Martin Romualdez. That follows allegations linking Romualdez to the flood control scandal. And for the details, we have mobile journalist Julie Baiza. Julie, ano mismo yung sinabi ng palasyo patungkol dito sa planned charges against Congressman Romualdez?
Denise, hindi daw makikialam si Pangulong Bongbong Marcos kaugnay ng anumang investigasyon. Kasunod nga to ng sinabi ni Ombudsman Jesus Crispin Remulla na yung opisina nila is very close to filing plunder charges against Congressman Martin Romualdez. Sabi ni Palace Press Officer Claire Castro, kahit sino pa raw yung maaapektuhan ng investigasyon at kung saan man papunta yung ebidensya, yun lang daw yung susundan ng palasyo. Tatanggapin din daw ni Pangulong Marcos anuman daw yung kahinatnan nung ikinakasang investigasyon. Denise.
Julie, ano naman yung tugon ng palasyo dun sa mga kritisismo na nagsasabing masyadong mabagal itong investigasyon na ito?
Yes, Denise, marami nga nagsasabi, kaliwat kanan ng mga opisyal yung nagsasabi na tila nababagalan sila at parang hindi napapanagot yung mga kaalyado ng Pangulo. Una, ang sabi ni Yusek Claire, mahirap daw na basta lang magturo ng walang dalang ebidensya. Hindi raw ganon yung hustisyang umiiral sa ilalim ng Administrasyong Marcos dahil sinusunod daw nila yung due process. Sa mga aligasyon naman na mabagal yung usad ng investigasyon, particularly dito sa flood control mess, yung mga hindi raw sanay humarap sa korte, pwede raw sabihin na nababagalan sila. But in reality, mabilis na raw actually itong pagkilos ng Office of the Ombudsman at saka ng DOJ. Mahirap daw kasi yung proseso ng pagsasampa ng kaso. Ang hamon pa ni Yusek Claire sa lahat na nagsasabi na naiinip na sila kung meron daw silang konkretong ebidensya kaugnay nga ng flood control anomaly, go ahead and file the cases now. Madali naman daw na magsampa ng kaso basta't bitbit nila yung kanilang matibay na ebidensya.
Okay, on to another topic. Julie, ano naman yung reaksyon ng palasyo dito sa AI video na kumakalat sa Chinese media outlets?
Denise, nakarating na nga daw kay Pangulong Bongbong Marcos at itong depiction na mga unggoy ang mga Pilipino. Ang sabi ni Yusek Claire, kahit sino raw na Pilipino, hindi matatanggap yung ganoong paglalarawan ng China na sila ay unggoy. Ang sabi pa ni Yusek Claire, siguro meron lang daw ilang opisyal na tanggap na sila ay unggoy pero hindi raw si Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. Ipinauubayan naman ng palasyo sa Department of Foreign Affairs yung magiging hakbang kung ipatatawag o makikipag-usap ba sa ambassador ng China. Sila raw kasi yung gumagawa ng aksyon dito. At ang Senado, kung magkakaroon din daw ng separate or iba pang hakbang kaugnay sa usapin, nasa kanila na raw yan dahil mandato rin daw nila na ipakita, una, alamin yung pangyayari at pangalawa, ipakita sa publiko na kinukondena ng pamahalaan yung anumang uri ng pangmamaliit sa mga Pilipino.
Okay, Julie, we are about 1 week away from the President's fifth SONA. How are the preparations going at ano ba yung mga inaasahang i-address ng Pangulo come next Monday, July 27?
Denise, asahan daw na simple but dignified yung magiging ikalimang SONA ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos sa July 27. Wala daw mga A-listers na performers at wala din daw celebrity directors. Hindi naman yan yung unang beses na magiging, kumbaga, simple lang yung magiging SONA ng Pangulo. Kasi even last year, RTVM yung nag-direct at RTVM yung nanguna nga dito sa coverage and the whole process ng SONA ng Pangulo. Ngayon, hindi naman na nagpatikim pa si Yusek Claire. Ano ba yung masasabi ng Pangulo? Kasi again, ayaw nga niyang ma-pre-empt o pangunahan ng Pangulo, but ongoing daw yung pagpa-finalize ng iba pang mga paghahanda para sa SONA, katuwa nga yung House of Representatives.
All right, thank you for those updates. Again, that was mobile journalist Julie Baiza. Now, President Ferdinand Marcos Jr.'s approval and trust ratings declined in the latest Pulse Asia survey. His approval rating fell to 29% from 36% in March, while his trust rating dropped to 28% from 35%. Meanwhile, Vice President Sara Duterte's approval rating edged up to 56% from 55% in the previous survey. Her trust rating also improved to 58%, up from 54% in March. The survey was conducted from June 28 to July 3 and July 6, 2026 with 2,400 adult respondents. Now, motorists face another round of sharp fuel price hikes starting Tuesday, July 21. Diesel prices will rise by as much as 10 pesos and 68 centavos per liter, while kerosene will jump by up to 11 pesos and 77 centavos. Gasoline prices will also increase by as much as 3 pesos and 65 centavos per liter. The Energy Department blames renewed hostilities in the Middle East for the surge in global oil prices. Meantime, the Foreign Affairs Department says all 81 Filipino seafarers aboard the 4 Philippine-registered vessels have safely exited the Strait of Hormuz. The DFA said the vessel successfully transited the strait during the last week of June and have now cleared the conflict area in the Persian Gulf. Most of the Filipino crew members have resumed their duties, while others have already returned home to their families. The safe passage was part of a United Nations facilitated operation that helped escort 136 vessels and nearly 2,900 seafarers out of the conflict zone. The DFA, however, said some Filipino seafarers remain in the region after evacuation operations were suspended following the end of the Iran-US ceasefire. The department said it will continue to monitor the situation and work to ensure the safe passage of Filipinos still in the area. A Philippine Navy personnel was injured after being hit on the head with a wooden baton by a China Coast Guard member at Ayungin Shoal. The AFP says a Chinese rubber boat approached the BRP Sierra Madre and reacted aggressively when Philippine forces moved to drive it away. The injured sailor received immediate medical attention while authorities assess whether an evacuation is needed. The AFP and Defense Department condemned the incident as an escalation of tensions and said Philippine operations at Ayungin Shoal will continue. The Social Welfare Department has begun distributing its expanded Uplift Cash Assistance Program. Thousands of beneficiaries in several provinces across the country have received their first payouts. Qualified beneficiaries are receiving a one-time 2,000 peso cash aid under the expanded Unified Package for Livelihoods, Industry, Food, and Transport, or Uplift. The program is expected to benefit 7.5 million households, or about 37.5 million Filipinos nationwide. The initial rollout covered beneficiaries of the Walang Gutom program, low-income SSS members, and poor and near-poor households identified through the PSA's community-based monitoring system. The DSWD says the distribution will continue in the coming days until all qualified beneficiaries have received their assistance. One Newsfeed will be back after this short break. You're still watching One Newsfeed. Welcome back. After a brief homecoming, Alex Ayala is back on the road as she begins her build-up for the US Open hardcourt season. The Filipina tennis star left the country to prepare for the Mubadala DC Open in Washington, where she will compete in both the singles and doubles event. Ayala will once again team up with tennis legend Venus Williams in the doubles draw. The tournament marks the start of Ayala's hardcourt campaign, which also includes stops in Toronto and Cincinnati before the US Open, which begins on August 30. Ayala is currently ranked world number 29 following her break after a breakthrough grass court season that included a historic Wimbledon round of 16 appearance. And before we go, is it real or is it AI? This viral video has left netizens doing a double take after a monkey appeared to pull off its very own Mary Poppins moment. A tourist in the mountains of China recorded a cheeky monkey stealing a bright red umbrella before jumping off a cliff. As the wind caught the open umbrella, the monkey appeared to glide through the air. The clip quickly went viral, with many wondering if it was generated by artificial intelligence or a real-life moment. But whether you believe it or not, one thing's for sure: the internet has already crowned the video as Monkey Poppins.
He's actually riding it. That just happened. Going into the clouds. I can't even see it anymore.
And that wraps up One Newsfeed, the only feed you need. I'm Denise Tan. Good evening.